Good day, and welcome to the BL Fun Hour. Today, we're going to talk about making your own composter. As a disclaimer, I don't claim to be an expert about composting beyond my own experiences and those of my wife, being composters for the last 20 years. There are experts online who may differ with some of the suggestions I give to you today, but in our experience, what I'm telling you work for us. To begin, let us answer the question, what is composting? Composting is the act of creating compost, which is decaying organic matter used as fertilizer for plants. A composter in this instance is the space in which the decaying occurs. For our purposes, and to reduce the possibilities of pests, we will restrict the food waste we will compost to vegetable, fruit, and garden waste. Some will call these clean compostable materials. We can look at composting as a cycle, as indicated in the diagram that is currently on the screen. We prepare fruits and vegetables for cooking or consumption, and in that preparation we create food waste. We can then take that food waste and place it into our composting area. Over time, decomposition occurs, breaking the food waste down into usable organic material. That decomposition requires water, air, sunlight, microorganisms, insects, worms, and time. Once that decomposition is complete, which could take 6 months or more, you can have compost that can be mixed with soil for planting and will contain nutrients to help those fruits and vegetables grow. So from our diagram, we know that we need water, sunlight, microorganisms, insects, and time to break down our compost, and all of these need to be considered in the creation of our composting site. We will need a site that is in sunlight most of the day, that remains uncovered, that is in touch with the ground, and has access to water. Dealing with these constraints at the beginning will enable the compost to break down the material quicker and more efficiently. So, find a spot in your yard that will give you all the things you need, as well as provide a little shelter for wind or perhaps some support for one of the walls of your composter. The picture on the screen now is an ideal site, or as ideal as is possible, in the yard in question. Now that you have selected your location, you will need to find some materials to use to make your compost bin. These can be things such as leftover building materials, pallets, and old fence pieces. They can all have a new life as the walls of your compost. The pictures you are looking at now show a variety of different styles for that bin. The first one is the 3-sided bin made from pallets. This has the benefit of being very simple to construct, but does require the pallets as a resource. You may be able to find pallets at your local building supply company. The second picture is a more complex bin, but made from recovered wood. It is divided in 3 sections. These 3 sections allow for 3 different seasons of your compost. You can see in the photo how one section is in current use for yard waste, one section is decomposing, and one section has compost that can be used around the garden. The final example we have here is a commercially available compost bin. In this instance, as you can see, the bin is suspended above the ground, but does have the added feature of being able to be rotated to mix the compost. It is not open to the air, but it does have air holes on the side and is black in color, which allows for some of the radiant heat of the sun to be absorbed to help in the composting process. It also has 2 chambers inside that allow for shorter term and longer term compost to be stored. One side is in the decomposition phase, while the other side is used for day-to-day storage. Finally, we have a few pointers to make sure that your compost is successful. Firstly, as you are placing it in the sun, note that you still have to keep your compost damp. Check on it periodically to make sure that it has enough moisture. As you are adding compost to your pile, stir it or disturb it. Basically just a quick mix to make sure that everything is starting to decompose, but it also aids in the breaking down process. Layer brown waste such as dry leaves or shredded cardboard with your green waste the peelings and such from your food preparation. Finally, try to learn from your waste. There are a lot of people out there who don't compost things like eggshells or coffee grounds because they don't break down as much, but both have capabilities to be beneficial to your soil. Thank you for your time today. I hope you've learned something, and I hope to talk to you again soon.